let me go over some housekeeping chores. I've graded the quizzes and put them in Blackboard from last Thursday. But Mr. Myers, what do you know your situation? Melendez, I didn't get a quiz from you. Matter of fact, you might want to check in with me on office hours today or tomorrow.
You didn't?
Mr. Melendez, I haven't received anything from you for the most part. If it is, it's so I'm not sure where you're sending it, where it's going. Are you using email or Dropbox?
I've been using email. Remember we talked about how I had to take everything from my email and resend it in.
You're not using
iCloud instead of at Gmail.
Right. You're not using iCloud now, right?
No, I'm not using iCloud now. But I sent you my quiz, like the day it was due, to you at Gmail. Like I sent it to from my at Gmail account.
All right. And you're using the J. Gaffney at BenedictineCollegePrep.org?
Yes, sir.
I've got nothing from you. I'll go back and do a search on your name again, but
okay.
Check in with me during office hours today, so after class I can do a word search and see if I can find anything. But there's a ton missing.
Yes, sir.
We're running out of time. You know, we're down to 3 weeks after this week, I believe.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Gaffney. Mr. Garcia, I didn't get a quiz from you. Did you submit your quiz?
I sent it through email. I can send it again.
Okay, so how about resubmitting, because I don't have anything from you on that.
Sorry I'm late, sir. I was having Wi-Fi problems.
Hold on a second. Mr. Abelhausen, did you join us? Just double check. I think we're missing. Yeah. Now, the only other thing that could be applicable to a couple of you is I've got some problem sets and I've got some quizzes with no names on them. So I can't stress enough, before you do anything, make sure you put your name on your quiz or test.
Did you get my my quiz app when I emailed to you? To you both sides?
Yes.
All right.
So just make sure you put your name on it, because unless there's a few people that have very distinctive handwritings that I recognize, but if your handwriting is kind of not real unique, and I can't recognize it. So because I've probably got 4 or 5 quizzes and probably 10 or 12 problem sets over here with no names, and I can't just arbitrarily guess, because I'd be penalizing some and rewarding others that may be incorrect. So please, 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 please put a sticky note by your computer or whatever. Put your name on everything.
Mr. Gaffney.
Yes, sir.
I'm on my phone right now, and I just got my computer working. So can I leave, and then you can add me back on when I'm on my computer?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Okay. So that's kind of the housekeeping course. Make sure you put your name on your quiz or test. Melendez, Garcia, and Abelhausen's not on here, but if anybody talks to him, I need the 5-2 quiz from last week. I want to go back behind me in Blackboard, because you may have some zeros in there and you say, well, I submitted that, which you may very likely have done. Yours could be one of the half a dozen problem sets I have over here of different from various classes that they're on it. Okay, so please put your name on your things. If you see you got a 0, the best thing is just resubmit it to me. Resubmit it to me via email. Don't put it in Dropbox, because once I've cleared out Dropbox, it's a bear to go back in there and find out who's added to it. I just send it via email. Mr. Garcia, I saw you had your hand up. You got to unmute yourself. No? You're good? Okay. All right, so let me just tell you what the plan of attack is for today. This could be a real short class. What I would like to do with you guys, unless there's any complaints or disagreements, is I'm gonna post 6-4 problem set number 2, which was nth roots, which were all done with the calculator that we started in class on Monday. I'm just gonna post the answer key instead of me trying to use my mouse pad here to write the answers out.
Hey, Mr. Gaffney.
Adam? Yes, sir.
I just turned in the thing to the Dropbox right before class started. But then I just re-emailed it to you, 6-4 problem set 2.
Actually, I didn't even grade problem set 2. I graded problem set 1, but I did not grade problem set 2. Actually, there was no Dropbox for problem set 2.
Yeah, that's what I did for you.
Yeah. I'm probably just going to do down to one graded assignment a week.
We got a quiz today, right?
Got plenty. Yeah, just let me finish.
My bad.
Probably just do one graded assignment a week, just to keep the paperwork Dropbox fiasco down to a more manageable level. All right. And as I was starting to say, I'm gonna share my screen with problem set 2 from Monday, and kind of go over a few watch out fors, make sure ofs, be careful ofs, and reminders. And then unless there's any questions, I'm going to cut you loose. And I've got the quiz already posted on Blackboard with a Dropbox. Take the quiz, please, right after class. Shouldn't take you more than 20 minutes, and put it in Dropbox. Okay, that way it's kind of quick, clean, and done. And you don't have to worry about Algebra 2 until next Monday when we move to 6-5. Sound like a plan? All right.
FTC.
What is it, this?
I'm sorry? Well,
When is it
I would love for you to do it today,
the
but I
quiz?
give you till tomorrow, because sometimes I may not come into school on Friday to print them out. So I would like to print them all out tomorrow. So let's just say 2 o'clock tomorrow. So that gives you 24 hours to take a 20-minute quiz. But I'd love for you, what I'd like to do is give you a 10-minute review and then give you class to do it. That leaves 20 minutes in class. And by 1:50, you can be done with Algebra 2 until next Monday at, next Monday at 1 o'clock. That sounds fair. But if you guys have a different request, let's see here. Let me see. Give me a second here to pull that problem set up. I can't tell if that's it. Nope, that's not the one I want. Let me grab the one I want. Bear with me just 1 second. 6-4. Algebra 2. Where did it go? I had it all here. Give me 1 second. Bear with me. I had it all set and it went somewhere. There we go. That's the one I want. Okay. Yep, that's what I want. Okay, so let's minimize that. Now, let me try again. Share. That's the one I want. Okay. All right. Can everybody see the problem set 2?
Yep.
Excellent. Okay. Let me just go over a few reminders. What I'm expecting you guys is you've got your problem set 2 sitting right in front of you, and you compare these answers with your answers. That's my wish and goal for you. All right. Remember, we're going to round everything. All these are what kind of called irrational numbers, which means things don't terminate. They keep going. And you're going to round to 3 decimal places, which means 3 numbers to the right of that decimal. All right. Remember we talked about on Monday. Yeah. If this fourth number, this first number you're removing is 4 or smaller, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, the 4 stays just as written. If this first number that you're kind of lopping off, that you're rounding to, is 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, this 4 then would become a 5. And that is proper rounding. I'm confident you probably did some rounding rules probably in some of your science labs. So just be careful of that. And round to 3 decimal places. Is everybody good with a calculator that can do things other than square root, such as this cube root or to the 4th root? Anybody have any technical difficulties with that? All right, hearing that's great. Hearing none, I won't belabor that point. All right, so there's the first 6 answers. Any discussion or questions? And again, you can see every one of them is rounded to 3 decimal places. Check your answers versus mine. I could have made a mistake rounding. Let me know if I need to go back and talk about any of these. All right, hearing none. Let me clean up my mess. All right, let me scroll up. Are we getting these answers? All right, there's 8, 9. Again, just to confirm, no problems taking the 5th root of 100. Right. A reminder, if I've got a negative under the radical and I'm solving to a odd root, an odd root would be like 3, 5, 7, 9. I get a negative answer and it's solvable. If this guy here was an even root, such as 2, 4, 6, and so on, not solvable, right? Do I need to go over that explanation again, which I'll be glad to do? You cannot solve that. It is not solvable. There's no 2 numbers that you can multiply together that are of like sign, be it positive or negative, that you're going to get a negative answer.
So when there's an exponent above the square root and the negative inside the square root is unsolvable at all times?
I'm not sure if I understood your question. You can solve, all of these are solvable if this root that you're solving for is an odd number. If it's an even number, no solution. Can't happen, impossible, no way, Jose.
All right, so if it's an even number on top of the square root, it's always non-solvable.
If you're solving to square root, 4th root, 6th root, 8th root, no, can't happen, right? You understand why it can't happen? Because if you understand it can't happen, you don't have to memorize it, right? Because think of it in terms of, because we're dealing with roots and exponents, which is kind of going, it's like the Scarecrow and Wizard of Oz. We're going both directions, right?
Uh-huh.
There's no way I can square 2 or 3 or 4 or keep on going and get a negative answer. There's no way I can square a -2, a -3, or a -4 and get a negative answer. Same thing going the opposite direction, taking the roots. If you remember that, you don't have to memorize it, right? Because if it makes sense, then there's nothing to memorize. It's kind of like you just know it. All right, let me scroll up to the back side. All right, so there's the next, 9? Take a look at your answers versus my answers. I could have made a mistake. Let me know. Particularly, I want you to focus in on is that last number. Make sure that you're rounding correctly. Particularly focus in on that. All right, this should be easy money as long as you understand how to round to 3. Any questions or anything I need to explain or go over, or any disagreements with those answers? Like I said, I could make a mistake. Everybody getting these? All right, I'm gonna scroll up unless I hear anything from you. Okay. Oops. Oh. There was the 2 word problems, which you may see one of these as a bonus. Okay. Let's see. Then this first one. Let me get my little pen here. Formula of R equals 2 under the radical 5L or 5L. So sometimes you might see anything under, just in case you see this in terminology, like particularly on standardized tests, 7,500, 4,200, 5L. The technical term for that you may see even in pre-cal, that's called the radican, R-A-D-I-C-A-N-D, radican. So 2 radical 5L is used by police to estimate the speed R in miles per hour for a car, and the length L of the car's skid mark is boy, it's a mouthful, is measured in feet. Estimate to the nearest tenth of a mile. All right, so now we're just tenths is 1 decimal place, hundredths is 2 decimal place, and what you did in these previous problems was thousandths or 3 decimal places. Estimate to the nearest tenth of a mile per hour the speed of a car that leaves a skid mark of 300 feet. So all you had to do is plug in 300 for the L, go 5 times 300, take the square root of it, multiply it times 2, and you should have come up with 77.5 miles per hour. So it's kind of a plug and play. Anytime you see a word problem, and I know I've mentioned this before, after a series of kind of generic problems you've seen, you're using the exact same methodology. You're just going to have to kind of bob and weave your way through the wording to figure out what they're asking to solve for. All right, and this one's done the same way. We're going to take that 150. We're going to square it. We're going to add it to 800 times 150. So we actually use it twice. And then we're going to, so there's a lot of math there. And then we're going to take the square root of all that, and you should have come up with approximately 1,100 miles. Okay. Do I need to go back to problem set 1 where we had also had a few variables under the radical, like a to the 5th or a to the 6th, square root of a to the 5th, square root of a to the 6th, that kind of stuff? Or we feel like you're fairly proficient in that? It's up to you. Let me just pull that up real quick, okay? Just so it's fresh in your mind, particularly if you're going to take the quiz right after this. So give me 1 second. Let's see, that was 6-4, number 1. Give me 1 second to grab it. 6-4, number 1. Here we go. Okay. Let's see, share screen. 6-4, number 1. Okay. All right, just a couple gentle reminders. All right. All right, so where's my pen? Number 14. All right, so we're taking the square root because there's nothing here. If there's nothing here, it's always a square root. So the square root of 36 is 6. All right, remember that's a 2 there. And remember, this is kind of the inverse of our exponents having exponents, where we multiply the exponents. All right, so here we're actually going to divide. So it's 34 divided by 2. So it's 6 times q to the 17th. All right, again, it's a gentle reminder of how to do this. Just like this one, the square root of 100 is 10. X squared. Let's see, we got x squared. 2 divided by 2 is 1, so it's just x to the first power. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And y to the 6 divided by 2 is y to the 3rd. So we're just going to divide these exponents by this root to get the final answer. So just remember that, right?
So I have a question.
Go ahead.
I mean, for number 11, right? I still don't know what that little sign means, right there. Yeah.
All right, so it's plus or minus. Remember when we were doing, we were solving problems where we'd end up with x. It was, we were doing quadratics, and we'd end up with x equals 5. We'd end up, with moving stuff across the equal sign. We'd end up with x equals 5 plus or minus, let's just say, square root of 2. Remember those problems?
Yeah.
So what that's telling you is I've got 2 answers here. I've got 5 plus the square root of 2, and I've got 5 minus the square root of 2. So when it's outside here, just bring it down. Just carry it down. You don't have to do anything with it. So the 169 comes out as a 13. Part of the 4th, 4 divided by 2 is 2. So it's plus or minus 13r squared.
So we treat it like it's not even there.
Bring it down. And don't get hung up over it. It's not a trick. It's not telling you to do anything more. It's applicable. If you go back in, I can't remember the section 4344, where we were getting two answers, because remember that we were solving for the roots. Remember we were solving for the roots, or where that quadratic or parabola crossed the x-axis. So there was almost always two answers.
Yeah.
So it's 5, or let's say your answer came out to be, let's use this answer right here. We got 5 plus or minus, I'm not going to carry the variable because then it would not be like terms. Let's just say we had 5 plus or minus 13. So what that's saying is my two answers would be 18 and -8. That's telling me I got two answers. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Let me erase my scribble. Okay, let me come down. Take a look at these and see if there's anything I need to clarify. See anything refresh my memory. What about this guy? Anything going on there?
Undefined.
Yep, or no solution, because there's no way I can get an answer for that without using imaginary or complex numbers, right? So no two numbers that I can multiply or take the square root of and get a negative answer. Remember, because that's a square root. If that was a 3, I could do it. Just like this one, this is solvable, right? That is solvable because I've got an odd root and I got a negative. So I think if I remember the answer right, there's negative, was it 0.3? I think, or 0.03. I have to put it back in my calculator to find out. So that's solvable. This one is not. All right. So like I said, my plan, unless you've got questions, and I'll be glad to stay on as long as anybody wants, is the quizzes there loaded up. Should take you probably 15 minutes, not even 20. And which is more than what is allotted left in class, and slap it right back in the Dropbox, and you're done with Algebra 2 until next Monday. We're gonna get more into exponents and radicals, a little more complex. We're gonna move on to 6-5. Questions, comments, concerns?
No, sir.
No, sir.
All right. So again, make sure you put your name on the. Mr. Albehausen, I need to stay on before you sign off. Make sure you put your name on your quiz. Put your name on your quiz, okay? And drop it back in Dropbox. And it'd really be helpful to me. And then you'd also be done with Algebra 2 if you just take it right now, and you'd still be done with class by 10 till 2. Questions? Questions?
No, so I could just email it to you, right?
Yes.
Okay, and I can do it in my notebook, like on paper.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people just do it. Yeah, if you don't have a printer,
I don't have a printer. I just do everything on
have
paper.
printers. So a lot of people, several of you guys don't have printers, which is fine. It's more labor intensive for you. So just hand copy the problem on loose leaf or notebook paper and then send it back to me that way, which is fine. But of course, be careful that you copy the problem correctly. Be careful.
Okay, so I can lead a Zoom meeting.
I'm sorry?
So you want us to stay in here while we take it?
No.
We can leave?
Yep.
Okay.
So you guys are good to go unless you've got a question. Mr. Albehausen, stay on, please.
Have a good day, sir.
Yeah, you too. We'll see you next Monday. If you want extra office hour points, come see me at 2 to 2:30 any day, Monday through Thursday, or 9 to 10 on Fridays.
Mr. Gaffney,
Yes, sir.
I'm trying to pull up the email on my computer right now.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Did you send the quiz on an email or on Blackboard?
It's on Blackboard.
All right, bet. Have a good one, sir.
All right, you too. All right, Mr. Albehausen, can you resend me the 5-2 quiz? I think you sent it, but all the stuff I get from you, is there any way you can take, it looks like you're taking a picture of it. Can you take it more closely? And because they're all very fuzzy, and it's almost like, I'm losing my eyesight. I really, they're very gray, for one, which a lot of people's are, but they're very fuzzy, like something moved. So can you like set the paper down, make sure you've got it in focus good, set the paper down so it's not moving, make sure you've got your hand steady on your camera, because some of the stuff I just can't read because the background is gray, not white, which makes it hard, and then it's blurred. So I can't even, I can't make out a lot of the numbers and variables. And that's true on almost everything you've sent me. So, I've got a 0 marked for the 5-2 quiz from last week. So if you've got that sitting there on your desk or in your notebook, try taking another picture of it. Try to get as much of it on your screen as possible. It looks like on some of them you're typically holding the paper, and I'm sure you're holding the camera. So if both hands are moving a little bit, that could be making it blurry. And the last one was such, I just could not make out between the background, the fuzzy blurriness, like something was shaking or moving. I just couldn't read it.
Do you want me to like type in the answers, or do you need the work shown and everything?
I'd rather see your work so I can kind of follow your lead. I'd rather see your work so I can follow your lead. But if it's, and I don't want you to duplicate efforts or work. I'm just trying to figure out a better way to get your.
I mean, my phone's camera is really bad, so I don't know.
Okay, what kind of phone is it?
It's a 7,
iPhone
but it's really old.
Okay. I taken your T-shirt or something and making sure the lens is clean. I don't know if that, I'm just kind of grasping at straws. Make sure the document is lit. Maybe there's a good overhead light or a kitchen light or light overhead so that I have a better chance of reading what you got.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
Thanks.
It?
You submit me 5-2 quiz. Mr. Albazen, there's a couple of things I'm missing from you. And there's a couple of things, let's see, I'm trying to look here, where I don't want to get side 1 or side 2, but I'm looking, like I'm still on, and I think you've sent it, but if you've got it, try some of those techniques I told you, but the 4 or 5 quiz, which was the first thing at the very back of the quarter, I don't have anything.
I don't know if I still have that, so that's the problem.
Okay. Take a look if you do, and if you do, please resend that too. And just like I said, make everything very still, have it lit up fairly well. Keep the paper in your hand camera as steady as you can. Let's see if I can get us to a point where I can read.
All right.
All right.
All right.
All right. Mr. Garcia, you still on there?
Am I allowed to leave?
You're allowed to leave.
Fine.
All right. Mr. Melendez, you got any word for me? You got to unmute.
I have, it says dividing polynomials quiz. Here's it sent. It says dividing polynomials quiz. I can't send it on Blackboard. I hope this is okay. And it was sent, I can't tell. It was sent.
Okay.
April 24th.
April
154.
24th.
Yeah.
Let me go back and check.
Then I have both. I took them from my phone and then sent it to this email, and then I sent it to you.
So there's one. Do you have dates of any other emails you sent me so I can maybe try to unravel where these things?
I sent the other ones at iCloud, so I'm just gonna resend
those you're gonna have to send because iCloud. I don't know, and I don't know enough. I'd have to talk to our tech guy. iCloud, it gets all just totally.
Yeah, I could tell
before I get it. Yeah,
I'm just gonna
have part of a problem on one sheet and part of a problem on another.
Yeah,
like 6 pages for like 2 problems. So
yeah,
when you send iCloud, you're gonna have to resend.
okay.
I need it right away because your grade is, as you know, your grade is tanked.
Yeah.
I don't have hardly anything for you from this quarter.
Yeah, because I've just been sending everything iCloud, and I thought everything was okay, but
nope. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm just gonna go back in my. I'm just gonna go back in my iCloud and take that, and then just resend it all.
Or Or if you've got it there on your notebook or on your desk, just take a picture of it with your phone. What kind of phone do you have?
An iPhone.
Take
11.
a picture with your phone and you could send it via phone. There's some apps called Scan or something with Scan in their name, which in the document, which those turn out. And I don't have the names of them in front of me. Some of those are pretty decent quality. If you just want to kind of go to the app store and look at any scan products, if you don't want to do the picture part of it.
I think I'll just make
The other guys,
one.
what they're doing. Say again?
I think I'll just make one big email to you of like I'll name them all. I'll be like problem set number, and then I'll just name every one of them. Make a big email to you.
Okay, I'm not, but it could be like too much data to transmit. So you may want to break it up into chunks, like everything from 5-2 or everything from 5-1. Why don't you break it up into sections? That way,
Yes, sir.
the technology doesn't get overwhelmed with the data.
Okay.
All right.
All right. I'll get that to you right away.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. We'll see you. Anybody else? Mr. Cash, you're talking. You got to unmute.
Yeah. So when's the quiz due by?
I would. Well, we finished class early. I was encouraging everybody to just, since we got class time left, to go over to Blackbot and take the quiz now and put it right back in Dropbox, and you're done.
Okay.
So I grade on weekends a lot because I'm so busy during the week with lesson plans.
I'll get it to you by tonight.
Okay, that's fine. I was trying to get. That's why I kind of intentionally ended class early so you could use class time to take the quiz, kind of like the good old days.
All right. See you, Mr. Gaffney.
Okay, we'll see you. Mr. Lingle, you still on there? Daniel? Mr. Lingle, you got any questions for me? All right.